When it comes to NBA hierarchy, few players stand above the rest. You have the role players, you have your sixth men, you have your starters, you have your all-stars, and you have your superstars. While most players in the NBA are super talented, these guys we're going to talk about today are legendary. Hello everyone and welcome back to Step Back with Zach, and in today's video I will be going over the top 5 players in the NBA, plus a bonus too, and what makes them stand out as the best of the best. We're going to be starting with undoubtedly the best player in the NBA today, Nikola Jokic. At 6'11" and near 300 pounds, Nikola Jokic has a unique ability to dissect defenses to get the best shot possible for his team. He can see defensive plays before they happen and is able to throw pinpoint accurate passes to the open man, whatever the situation is. He is incredibly unselfish and is a very reliable playmaker for the center position, easily the best passing big man we have ever seen. Last season, he finished second in the NBA, averaging 10.2 assists per game, only behind Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Even in a set play that the Denver Nuggets will be running offensively, Jokic is clever enough to realize when it will not work. For example, point guard Mike Conley of the Minnesota Timberwolves stated that in the 2023 playoffs that there was a time when I was on defense where I was the low guy on a zone trap situation on the backside. He was at the opposite elbow with his back to me. The previous possession I had helped in on the cut and deflected his pass. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there again. And as soon as I took a step in to go help with the guy cutting, without looking, he just threw the ball right across my face to the corner for a wide open three-pointer. This is just one of the examples that really showcases Jokic's unique ability to make the right read. Even though that the play that they were running was not for that open corner three, Jokic was able to realize that the regular play would not work, so he just passed it out to the open man in the corner. Jokic has an IQ we have only seen from some of the game's greats, like LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and Chris Paul. He is also debatably the best offensive engine of all time. He isn't going to wow you with a flashy handle like Kyrie, or shoot the ball like Steph Curry, or dunk on you like LeBron, or run as fast as a prime John Wall, but his craftiness is unmatched. With Jokic on the court, the Nuggets had an offensive rating of 125.6, which led the NBA last year and would have been the highest single season off-on number ever. Without him on the court last season, the Nuggets had an offensive rating of 104.1, which would have been the worst in the league. With Jokic on the court, they were the best offense in NBA history. With him off the court, they were the worst offense in the league last year. Crazy. He just has this unique ability to make everyone in his supporting cast look better than they probably are. Jokic, however, on the defensive end isn't great, but he also isn't terrible. He averaged last season 1.8 steals per game, which was tied for 5th in the league, showcasing again his incredible IQ on the basketball court, knowing when to intercept passes, knowing when to poke balls loose. He also has a very feathery touch around the rim, where I swear every time he goes down low, he's going to get the shot to fall, or if he misses, he's able to tap it back in. Last season, Jokic had a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves where he scored the highest scoring triple-double ever, where he finished with 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in an overtime loss, while shooting 62.5% from the field. Final thing with Jokic. Last season, he finished top 3 in the 3 main statistical categories, where he finished 3rd in points, 3rd in rebounds, and 2nd in assists. Oh, and let's just remember that Jokic was picked in the 2nd round at pick 41 during a Taco Bell commercial. Talk about overlooked, man. Oh yeah, and Jokic managed to finish last season averaging a triple-double, being one of only 3 players to ever do so. And he could definitely do it again. So to summarize, these are some of the few things that I think make Nikola Jokic one of the best in the world. Next up, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. At 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan and a very wiry frame, SGA is an absolute killer. He is able to score the ball with the best in the league, using a unique blend of mid-range pull-ups and attacking the rim to get his buckets, while being deceptively strong. He led the league in per-game scoring last season, where he averaged 32.7 points per game with a true shooting percentage of 63.7, meaning he is incredibly efficient. His footwork in the post is something that we don't really see out of the point guard position, and his ability to finish through tough contact is up there with the best of the league. Now, something that Shai gets a lot of hate for is his unique ability to draw fouls while in the act of shooting, which some people will say that he's foul baiting or that he's a free throw merchant just to downplay how great this man truly is. This resulted in him last season getting to the line 8.8 times per game and making 7.9 of them, for a free throw percentage of 89.8%. You know you are truly great when people find the dumbest things to hate on you for. Despite what a lot of his haters would say, this number is actually not that high. Do your research, watch his games, and realize that he is not this foul-baiting free throw merchant that people label him to be. He only drew 6.1 fouls per game last season, which again is not a lot. Shai definitely prefers to operate inside the arc, where he attempted 73.7% of his total shot attempts from the season. However, he can step out and hit the occasional three, where he finished shooting 37.5% on just under 6 attempts a game from behind the line. He is fortunate enough to play with an absolutely dominant defensive unit, which means he can coast a little bit on the defensive end. However, in saying this, it does not mean that he is a bad defender. He still managed to rack up 1.7 steals per game and was one of the best shot blockers from the guard position, averaging 1 block per game as well, while fouling just over 2 times a game. One thing you'll notice about Shai when he's on the defensive end, he's really good at disrupting the passing lanes and forcing turnovers or potential turnovers. He is known as well as Mr. Consistent, where you can always rely on him to step up big and always provide some much needed scoring for this OKC side. Even he was quoted as saying, "My whole life is consistent." Last year, Shai had a season for the history books, where he not only led the league in scoring, he also won the MVP award. He won the Western Conference Finals MVP award. He won the NBA title, and he won the Finals MVP, while also leading his team to a league-high 68-14 record, and was also an All-Star, and was named to All-NBA First Team. He is also one of 4 players in NBA history who finished the season with a scoring title, an MVP, and the championship, joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, who did it 4 times, and Shaq. Talk about some elite company. Damn. To summarize, these are some of the things that I think make Shai one of the best players in the world. Next, we are moving on to Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. Standing at 6'11" and 242 pounds with a 7'3" wingspan, Giannis is pure muscle, being the most physically dominant player in the NBA today and only behind Shaq in terms of all time. His unique physical attributes of size, strength, and speed have earned him one of the most iconic nicknames in the NBA, being the Greek Freak. Last season, he finished with splits of 30, 12, and 7, showing his all-around impact on the game, where he is a threat to go for a triple-double any night. Giannis, however, doesn't have the best jump shot, where he finished shooting 22% from behind the three-point line last season on less than 1 attempt a game, but the fact he was still able to drop 30 points per game while not being able to shoot threes furthermore shows how physically dominant this man is. There is a specific defensive tactic used across the NBA to try and stop Giannis from attacking and driving down low called the wall, where essentially all it is that multiple players on the defensive team will just clog the paint in order to throw bodies at him to try and throw him off. Does it work all the time? No. Giannis is a freak. Giannis is also one of the most imposing defensive players on the planet, where he won a Defensive Player of the Year award back in 2020. He has slowed as of late, however, on this side of the ball, because he has really needed to ramp up his scoring on the offensive end, because his teammates just don't really want to provide it. But when he wants to, Giannis can defend with the best of them. And last season, he still managed to average 1.2 blocks per game, which is also his career average, alongside the NBA's second total leader in blocks last season in Brook Lopez. Giannis is one of the few players in the NBA who can comfortably guard 1 through 5. Because of his speed and lateral quickness, he's able to stick on those smaller, shiftier players. And because he's big and he's long and he's strong, he's able to stop the opposing big men. He also very commonly is able to hold players under their usual field goal percentage. However, I couldn't find the exact number of what this is. Giannis is known to have an incredible work ethic, where coming in the NBA, he was super skinny, and now he is a force of pure muscle, and he is willing to do whatever he can to make his team win. And because of this, he's able to stay in incredible shape, meaning he's fairly durable throughout the season. However, he does need to sort that out for the playoffs. This is a summary of why I think Giannis holds his own as a top player in the world. Next up, Luka Doncic. Standing at 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan, Luka is one of the scariest players on offense for opposing teams. He isn't fast, and he sure as hell isn't very athletic, but Luka has a very impressive handle for someone of his build, and he has one of the greatest IQs the game has ever seen, and is able to make the correct reads on offense pretty much always. He throws some incredibly flashy passes on the court, and is able to hit some of the craziest, most difficult shots, earning him the nickname Luka Magic, where whenever he does something crazy like this, all you can say is, that's some Luka magic. Luka is also known for his incredible clutch performance, where he has hit around 5 game-winning shots in his career, all from behind the three-point line, and 3 have come at the buzzer, with a couple of those being in the NBA playoffs. Last season, Luka averaged 28, 8, and 8, which for him is considered a down year, which is crazy. These are the standards that we hold Luka to, because we know how insanely talented he is. Now, last year, in the 2023-2024 season, Luka Doncic had one of the best seasons we have ever seen, and one of the best offensive seasons we have ever seen, where he averaged 33.9 points per game, while also contributing a near triple-double with 9.2 rebounds and 9.8 assists to go along with those 33.9 points per game. Incredible. Hear this, last season, he had a game against the Atlanta Hawks where he dropped, just a casual 73 points, which leads all active players in career high for a single game, and it ties him 4th equal all time. This is one of the most incredible offensive single game feats we have ever seen. He also shot the ball incredibly well, where he finished shooting 25 for 33 from the field, 8 for 13 from 3, and 15 for 16 from the foul line on splits of 76, 62, and 94% for a true shooting of 91.2, making it not only the most efficient 70-plus point game ever, but also the most efficient 60-plus point game ever, which is incredibly crazy. Luka Doncic is also a playoff riser, meaning when the lights are the brightest, you can always count on Luka to be the best version of himself. Where last season as well, that same season, he led his former team, the Dallas Mavericks, all the way to the NBA Finals, where they ultimately lost in 5 to a far superior Boston Celtics side. Luka was pretty damn banged up in this playoff run, however, making his splits of 29, 9, and 6 even more impressive. Luka Doncic has career averages of 28.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. And in the playoffs, this goes up to a mind-blowing 30.9 points per game, 9.2 rebounds per game, and 7.8 assists per game. Not only is Luka one of the best scorers we have ever seen, not only is he one of the best playmakers we have ever seen, but out of the guard position, he's one of the best rebounders we have ever seen as well. Meaning he too is also a threat to go for a triple-double any night. Luka Doncic, following his rookie season, finished in the All-NBA first team 5 years in a row. Last season, however, in the 2024-2025 NBA season, he was unable to qualify for this award because he didn't meet the games played requirement. However, have you noticed that I haven't said anything about his defense? That unfortunately is for good reason. Luka Doncic can be known to be a defensive liability because he's slow-footed. Opposing players are able to blow right past him, and he can sometimes show a lack of effort on that side of the ball. The 2024 finals really proved this for some of his doubters, where they single-handedly blamed his lack of defensive effort as a reason that they lost. Where, to come to Luka's defense, these haters forgot how poor his surrounding cast actually was. No one other than him wanted to score the ball, while he was incredibly banged up, super injured. That man's knee was always bleeding. He was always wrapped up like a mummy before every single game and during the halftime of every single game. This past season, Luka Doncic was traded halfway through the season while dealing with an injury by Nico Harrison, the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, because defense wins championships. I will not get into how much I despise Nico Harrison in this video, but trust me, I do not like that man. This caused Luka really to work hard during the offseason this year, as he was able to lose between 30 and 35 pounds and become in the best shape of his NBA career. Also helping him look absolutely dominant in Eurobasket, where, ironically, he was named as a finalist for the Eurobasket Best Defensive Player Award. Whenever Luka senses any doubt, that man always rises up to it. This is my summary of why I think my darling boy Luka is one of the best players in the NBA today. And finally, rounding out my top 5 players in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama. Standing at a listed 7'3" to 7'4" with an 8-foot wingspan, Victor Wembanyama possesses unreal alien-like abilities, hence his nickname, The Alien. With his guard-like skills and wing-like shooting, Wemby is a freak of nature. No one in NBA history has had his combination of size and skill. Coming into the 2023 draft, Victor Wembanyama was one of the greatest prospects we have ever seen for the reasons above. He had been labeled a generational talent, which he is certainly living up to now, and it is easy to see why he was labeled as such. The label generational talent doesn't just get thrown around, where only a select few have been seen as such, with the likes of LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also holding this title, and modern names such as Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson. Victor Wembanyama is definitely surrounded by the right talent. However, sometimes this label does not account to a player actually being a generational kind of player, as Zion and AD have 100% been really good NBA players, but in terms of generational, I don't think so. Wemby last season, in his second year in the NBA, finished with splits of 24, 11, and 4, along with a staggering 3.8 blocks per game. For someone who is an insane lob target because he is so freakishly massive, Wemby took just shy of 9 threes a game and made just over 3 for a percentage of 35%. I can definitely see this growing, however I can also see him shooting less threes, as I think last season was just like a rip kind of season. I have discussed Wemby's incredible defensive capabilities in my first video, my awards predictions video, so I'm not going to get into them too much here. And if you want to know about his defense, go watch that video. However, I will say that he has the potential to be not only the greatest defender of the modern era, but the greatest defender the game has ever seen. In 2 seasons, he has already established himself as the best defensive player in the NBA and has set himself up very nicely to one day hold the title of best player in the NBA. Wemby is labeled as an NBA unicorn, where this means that he is exceptional talent for such a rare build. Yes, we have seen players taller, but none of them were as good in their whole career as Wemby has been in his 1.5 seasons played already. We have yet to see him in a playoff environment, but I have a feeling that when he gets there, the opposing side is gonna be very scared. He has incredible discipline and dedication to being as healthy as he can possibly be and being the best player he possibly can be. This past offseason, he spent 10 days at a Shaolin monastery training body and mind and earned himself an entry-level rank in Shaolin Kung Fu, which, given his enormous size, is a very impressive feat in itself. He's incredibly flexible, where we have seen clips of him doing yoga and folding himself like a pretzel. This is good to help prevent injuries. For someone being that tall, it can be very easy to get injured. Going into his rookie season, one of the things that scouts had commonly criticized Victor Wembanyama about was the fact that he was too skinny, where he came in the league at 210 pounds, which is 94 kgs. However, Wemby was able to put all of this to bed, where in his second season, he came in adding 25 pounds of pure muscle to become 235 pounds. Again, further showing his dedication. And as if Wemby's God-given talent and frame was not enough, he always believes he can be better. This is what is going to make him one of the best the game has ever seen. And finally, here is the summary for why I believe Victor Wembanyama, my favorite player in the league, is top 5. Now for these last 2 players, I'm not going to spend as much time on them, but I certainly wanted to give them their props. Next up, we have Anthony Edwards. Standing at 6'4" and 225 pounds, Anthony Edwards is a very explosive athlete who is not afraid to dunk on anyone who stands in his way. He was picked number 1 in the 2020 draft to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and although not an extremely hyped prospect, he has certainly lived up to the number 1 pick standard. Ant has a unique ability to adapt and change his play style per season. In his rookie season, Ant shot 32% from behind the 3-point line on just over 7 attempts a game. And going into last season, he really put an emphasis during the offseason on becoming a better shooter, where he watched players like Stephen Curry to try and incorporate what he does in his jumper to his own. When this didn't work for him, he went and looked at another great option, Damian Lillard. And this did work for him. This resulted in Anthony Edwards leading the NBA in total 3-point makes last season at 320 and improving on just shy of 40% shooting from behind the line, where he attempted just over 10 a game. Ant has an insane competitive fire where he is not afraid to talk to anyone, including his idol, Kevin Durant. People have been trying to make Anthony Edwards the face of the NBA as of recent, and he is definitely, debatably, the best American player in the league. However, I don't think he's quite good enough to be labeled as such. He needs to improve his consistency, especially on offense and in the playoffs, to I think be considered for this label. Last season, he had a scoring average of 27.6 points per game, which was a career high for him. He has an extreme confidence about himself, where he believes he is the best player on the planet, where even telling Barack Obama, Now finally, moving on to Jason Tatum. Drafted 3rd overall in the 2017 NBA draft of the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum stands at 6'8", 210 pounds. He is unique in the sense that he is the most versatile player in the NBA today. Averaging just shy of 27 points per game last season, he also finished with 1 steal and half a block a game as well. He leads the way for a formerly stacked, Boston Celtics side, where he, in my opinion, led them to their championship in 2024 and should have won the Finals MVP over his teammate Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum is unfortunately one of the most hated on and criticized players, primarily because he says and does some corny ass things, where he copied iconic photos of Kobe Bryant and tried to make his own quote like Kevin Garnett during his NBA Finals celebrations. Jason Tatum has been All-NBA first team in the past 4 seasons, a feat that not many others can say for themselves. His two-way ability and his versatility is probably the best thing about him. However, this does not mean that he is a slouch for other things too. Jason Tatum is a very volume shooter, meaning when he gets hot, he gets insanely hot and does not miss. He is also one of the most clutch players in the NBA today. He is an incredible 3-level scorer, meaning he's great from beyond the arc, he's great from inside the arc, and he's great at the rim. There really is nothing on the court that Jason Tatum cannot do, as he is also an exceptional rebounder. His playmaking could improve a little bit, but it's definitely not bad. Jason Tatum has been fortunate enough to play with some extremely talented supporting cast in his Boston Celtics tenure, so it'll be interesting to see how he is when he comes back from his Achilles injury with a somewhat depleted Boston Celtics side. But the videos that we've seen of Jason Tatum hooping, I cannot believe he's able to move like that 4 months post-surgery from a ruptured Achilles. And that is it for my top 5 plus 2 players in the NBA and what makes them stand out and what makes them so special. Thank you for tuning into this video and supporting me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Rolling slow. Yeah.